just going to get started right now. You guys might want to turn this way. First of all, welcome. Thank you for coming today. We're super excited to have you. We're representing over 39 schools here today from every borough of New York and the tri-state area. And before we can get started, we have some stuff to review. Schedule for today. So right now we have the presentation. From 9:30 to 10 o'clock, you guys are going to start brainstorming ideas. And then from 10 to 11, we'll have our first code sprint. And we'll all get into what that is in a moment. And in parallel to that, we'll have a Thunkable workshop. And Thunkable is a coding engine that allows non-coders to build fleshed out full apps in a short amount of time, which is important today. From 11 to 12, we'll have our second coding sprint, as well as an HTML, CSS, and JavaScript workshop, which will teach you the basics of web development. From 12 to 1, we'll have our third code sprint and working lunch. We ordered pizzas, and we have other stuff. From 1 to 2, we'll have our fourth code sprint. And from 2 to 3, we'll have our fifth and final code sprint, as well as the finishing up of our presentations and pitches. From 3 to 3:15, we'll be having a quick fireside chat with our judges to understand further what they look for in a company or in a product. And from 3:15 to 4:15, you guys will be giving your elevator pitches to the judges. After that, the finalists will be announced, and the finalists will present to the entire room. And then the judges will decide on a final winner, and we'll give out the prizes, and we'll say goodbye. So the Agile Sprint, this is what today is based off of. As you saw in the schedule today, it's basically what our day is. It's a cyclical development process, which means it goes in cycles, where you just code for a set period of time, in our case an hour, and then regroup and repeat. It looks something kind of like this. So you're building out what you think you need to do for the hour. Then you build that, test it, and implement it in your final product. And here are some tips for today. Brainstorming and teamwork. Defer judgment, right? All ideas are good. Encourage open ideation and brainstorming. 2, encourage crazy ideas, building off the last one. Sometimes the best ideas come from unexpected and crazy places. Who would have thought that drones would be delivering our packages? 3, build on the ideas of others. Google wasn't the first search engine, and Amazon wasn't the first e-commerce site. It's okay to enhance and improve on things that already exist. Stay focused. This is pretty self-explanatory, but because we have such limited time today, it'll be key to your success. 5, one conversation at a time. With the limited time and excitement, it's easy to talk over one another. But I really encourage you to all have one conversation at a time so everyone can be heard and so you can be more efficient. 6, be visual. Oftentimes in the creative process, using visuals, diagramming, etc., can be very helpful. 7, divide and conquer. Figure out where each team member can contribute the most and to pack in as much as possible. Find your strengths and weaknesses and plan accordingly. 8, go for quantity. When ideating, it's often helpful to come up with lots of ideas before you get too excited about one. This often produces better results. 9, be realistic. Time is limited today. We only have 5 hours, and trust me, the day is going to fly by. So be realistic with your ideas and what you can accomplish. Even though today you do not need to build a complete product, to build a complete product to be successful. The elevator pitch. So this is going to be key for the judging today. You want to explain your idea and your product in the same amount of time it takes you to ride an elevator. This is going to be key to today as you present to others and the judges. It's a good idea to be thinking about your elevator pitch throughout the day and then finalize at the end of the day. So these are some tips for the elevator pitch. Introduce yourself, who you are and why do you care. 2, explain the problem you're solving. 3, highlight how the solution works. This will be either coding or showing them your diagrams, etc. 4, use data where possible. There's a lot out there, especially for the challenge we have for you today. 5, embrace feedback. Listen and don't get defensive. All entrepreneurs need feedback, and at the end of the day, you will receive some from the judges, both in verbal and in a rubric. So this is an elevator pitch example. I'll just give you guys 20 seconds to read it. This is for WeWork. So this is something like what your elevator pitch will look like, and there will be people walking around who can help you with this if you need help. This is what you'll be judged on. So you'll be judged in 4 categories: innovation, execution, which is like your coding, pitch, and your impact/commercial viability. And they're all equally weighted. Here's some stats and some hints for our challenge. 40% of the eligible voters in the United States didn't vote in the last presidential election. The general trend for voter turnout in American elections has been decreasing for all age groups, but young people's participation has taken the biggest nosedive. The challenge: youth and voter engagement in the U.S. elections. So what can your team build to engage young voters and get them to vote in elections to help reverse the downward trend in youth voter turnout? Here are some idea starters. It doesn't have to be specific to necessarily voters themselves. It can be cybersecurity, it can be election district gerrymandering. This is online, so you guys can all take a look in more detail. And I just want to give a special thanks to all of our sponsors to making this day possible and entirely free to all. These are our sponsors. You'll be seeing them throughout the day. We have some people coming from these companies to visit you guys and help out. Here are the details, where you can find the rubric that you'll be judged on, and also the idea starters. All right, thank you. You guys can, I would suggest, if you want to take a picture, I would suggest you guys first come up with a team